Sometimes you're nervous, sometimes you don't know, sometimes you black out, but still, the magic is to be consistent.
Correct. Yeah.
How important it is.
The feedback loop.
Yes.
You go, take your learnings, and then you apply it.
Yeah.
So a bit of background. I am an absolute coffee snob. Coming from Australia, born and raised in Australia, Melbourne, huge coffee culture.
Coffee culture.
I'm not great at making it, but I am a coffee snob. But my father played basketball for Lebanon. So I was very much into sports as a child. It was push-ups for punishments. It was 6 a.m. sprints. It was like discipline and so forth. So I take a lot of those learnings into what I do now. Yeah, the long-term thing's interesting because people are very short-minded.
Yeah.
They want instant gratification.
Yeah.
They feel like they can put 2 posts up and share their voice online and they're going to get all the rewards. Yeah, it's a long-term thing. So for real estate specifically, it's crazy. It just boomed all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Personal branding is so important for real estate because people are going to buy from people.
Yes. And how much content is too much content?
Oh.
How much is okay to post? Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in the podcast, I have somebody, actually I'm very lucky today because I have somebody who makes people famous. She's a well-known personal brand strategist. Name is Robyn, and from Robyn today we'll have a discussion about personal brand strategy, marketing, why businesses are now focusing on face and personal branding. So I think you will learn a lot about personal branding from her because she has a diverse 13-year background in UAE itself into branding, and she's worked with some of the top names, and I don't want to be the one talking about it. I think I want her to highlight on her experience, and especially I love when females, when they're doing so well. So I think that's one thing that we'll deep dive into today. So let's just start. Hi, Robyn. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Shireen. Thank you so much. And what an introduction, honestly. I think we're done. That was a great introduction. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Robyn. I think I'm very fortunate today that you've been you've have the time to take out for this interview. And I really wanted, when I go through your Instagram channel, I see so much focus on personal branding for yourself as well as for what you've done for other people. Mm-hmm. So what's the secret sauce?
Oh, I think the secret sauce is a choice. So visibility is a choice. A lot of people think that when they're good enough, opportunities will start coming to them. But really, you have to choose to be seen. And then opportunities start growing from that. So that's the first thing. A lot of people don't choose to be visible. They kind of expect it when they're doing well in their career or if they've reached a certain title. So that'd be my number one thing is make it a choice, have intent, have a purpose, and then really treat it as something you want to grow.
True. And especially I feel in the market, the UAE market as well, now world across, I think global brands, global leaders, big businesses are now focusing on coming on camera themselves and trying to pitch about themselves, their product, direct, indirect, doesn't matter. But eventually it's all leading to sales, right?
Yeah, well, I guess that's the big picture profit, right? But I think what people miss is the first step in really understanding what they want to be known for. So a lot of people just start making content and really think about, let's create content that's look at me content instead of learn from me content. So if you're thinking about what I want people to really learn from me, it's really understanding your identity. And we change our identity so much, especially in the UAE. It's so fast paced. A lot of people attach their identity to their titles, maybe when they become a mother, a father, so many elements that happen and you transition in your life. So in that particular moment, you really need to understand, okay, what do I want to be known for? What am I offering? What do I want people to feel when they interact with me? So there's kind of 3 questions you can really ask yourself. In terms of the face with corporates, that's a very interesting one because people do business with people.
Yes.
I always say that at the end of the day, your every day is made better because of the people within it. That actually reminds me as to why I got into personal branding. So I have a very tech background, huge tech background, which you
Okay.
won't know because I've positioned now into personal branding. But I started in marketing, in software marketing. And I remember when I went to that interview, it was the most boring interview I have ever been to. Monotone. I was like, oh God, is this what life is after university? But you know what, Shireen, it was the best organization I had ever worked for because I had the most amazing people. So I started to think, why are we working for these big brands, these big corporations, when it's really the people that make the difference? And why aren't they surfacing themselves so that we can start working for the people? So I had that thought in my head along 17 years ago,
Wow.
thinking, why don't corporates do it? It's not a new concept. Athletes do it very well. We follow the athletes, not necessarily the team. Hairdressers do it. Doctors do it quite well. Celebrities do it insanely well. You look at Dwayne Johnson and Kim Kardashian. We're following the people. They're launching so many different brands, from
Yeah.
alcohol brands to loungewear, and we're still purchasing because we believe in the person.
Yeah.
In the corporate world, Steve Jobs was fantastic at it. Richard Branson's fantastic at it, but no one else is really taking into that space. So the UAE market's shifting, and that's really exciting for me. And that shift happened after COVID because everyone had an identity crisis. Is this what I want to be doing with my life? Is this the company that I want to be working for? I hate my boss. I don't want to go there anymore. Why haven't I started my side business? So then all of a sudden,
remote working came into play.
yeah.
And then you get more time to introspect.
Exactly. There was a lot of time.
There was a lot of
Even
time.
I was thinking about everything. It was a lot of self-reflection, and personal branding started to really surface in the region. So I'd say that was the key switch, and the consumers started to behave differently. They started to really, look to people for recommendations. We go online to search. There's so many elements that we do to really connect with people.
That's true. LinkedIn being one platform, Instagram other. That's how we connected.
Yes, exactly. There's so many. So talking about Instagram and touch points, I always say you have to create your digital ecosystem.
Yes.
And you choose that. So for me, my digital ecosystem is Instagram, LinkedIn. I have my own website and now YouTube. So
Yeah,
it's how
very
do we
nice.
create all of these touch points where it really is you, but online.
Yeah. It's all about the social footprint as well. I think if somebody Googles you today and they're able to find you, a step of credibility is already established.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah?
And it's called
second
social
step,
proofing.
Yeah, it's better than cold calling or better than anything. If you talk about sales, or if you talk about even, like, for example, in my profession, when people come to me, if they've heard a viewpoint from my Instagram, social media, anywhere, they already know that I don't have to establish my trust, credibility, worthiness, etc., all of that, right?
Very true. Yeah, exactly. So I find a big gap, especially in this region,
Yes.
where the most talented and people that are really experts in their domain are just too busy in the real world.
Yes.
And then you've got the content creators that are just too busy creating content. They need to be more in the real world, and these experts and strategists need to be more online. So it's like, how do you map who you are in the real world online? And that's the challenge that a lot of, successful people face, because they're like, I'm so good at it. Now I have to win this social media race. And it's overwhelming.
Traditional people think that way.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
why do I
overwhelming.
need to do that? And it's just extending who you are. I'm just like, you're not changing. You're just extending.
Yeah.
And then you're
And
selecting.
on the contrary, sorry,
No,
in between. Contrary, I have had colleagues who I have had opinions from people telling me that if you are making content, who's working?
Okay.
Now,
That's a new one. I've never heard that.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I am working. That's how
Yeah.
I'm talking about it, because that's my practical experience that I'm talking about, right? But I don't know, this balance. I think people who don't want to use it as an excuse or use it as something, and they tell me that the kind of content, okay, especially the colleagues, people who in the same legal network, if I would know, I know people telling me that when are you working if you're just making content?
Okay.
And I'm like, what is this? Of course I'm working. I have a team to do that as well for me.
Okay. Oh, look, don't listen to them. You are miles ahead. And what will happen is everyone will need to catch up.
Yeah.
So I love that you don't look at it as work. It just comes naturally because you are creating visibility and touch points out there.
Yeah.
But there is you spoke about work, making it look like work or creating content.
Yeah.
So there's two ways around that. Either you're creating content or you're documenting content.
Yes.
So you can do documenting, which people would see I'm working, but it's behind the scenes kind of stuff. Or
Yes.
there's having it with intent.
Yes.
And that's what branding is all about, having an intent and purpose behind what you're doing.
Yes, that's true. If you think about it, yes, I'm documenting what I'm doing. Yeah, that's the right word to put it. But I never thought it from that angle. Yeah, because I'm only talking about what I know, especially you also, for that matter. All the videos that I watch for you, I see that you're talking about personal branding. It comes naturally to you, you know?
It comes naturally because I know what I want to talk about.
Yes.
So it comes naturally now, but when I started to get into the space of personal branding, I had to really position myself. What are the core messages I want to put across? What do I want to be known for? And that evolves. We're not going to really understand. Our introduction evolves, right? If you go, Robyn, can you please introduce yourself? Usually everyone would just default to their name, their nationality, their age and job title.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to start to think about how do we reframe our introduction? And that's when you really dig deep and say, okay, what do I want to be right now in this moment that's relevant?
Yes.
So it's, what people see come natural is practice. Like you here, I'm hosting and talking. You've done so many great episodes. Like I'm sure you'll go, oh, you're just so natural at this. You were born natural. And then you're like,
No.
you don't know how much hard work has gone into this. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of intent.
Sometimes you're nervous. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you black out. But still, you know, the magic is to be consistent.
Correct. Yeah. You just
How important it is.
the feedback loop.
Yes.
You go, take your learnings, and then you apply it.
Yeah. And some people I see, they're stuck to be perfect, like just to find that perfect movie, perfect vlog, perfect picture to post. And I think for me, from my childhood days only, my mother used to say that you are an imperfect child, and that is where the perfection is, because you are doing it. And that's the number one thing, because I think everybody should just do it, because I see non-professional videos getting so many views because people are just posting, putting it out there. Visibility again.
Yes.
And then knowing the topic, subject matter is very important as well.
Yeah, you're right. You have to be brave enough.
Yes.
So many people sit in ideation phase and they don't get to execution phase.
Yes.
And for me, that's where the big difference happens. So a lot of people say, oh, I want to have a podcast. I want to go on stage. I want to do a TEDx talk. And I'm like, okay, what's your topic? What do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
And they don't know. So I'm like, so how are you going to get there? And that goes back to visibility as a choice. It's not given. To have an intent, if you want to be there, what do you want to be known for? And take the steps. A lot of people just want to get to the finish line. And I'm like, there's no finish line. Ta-da, no finish line. It's just like a forever marathon.
It's flowing.
It's flowing. Yeah.
True. And also one more thing, when starting podcast, I'm sure you will also know that once you start putting out content out there, you meet so many people. Like today, I'm lucky enough to meet such a beautiful person like you. But like many other people that I've met through my network, etc., all of that has been, my social media has been the platform for that. It opens so many doors.
Right back at you. I mean, like when you reached out, it opened so much doors. You connect with amazing people.
Yeah.
And I always say, you always stay friends.
Yes.
Like I've stayed friends with a lot of clients, a lot of people that I connect to, especially at that level now that you're in. You know, you're quite successful, established, and you're thinking, you know what, this is quite my nice actual professional networking circle where you like to see other people succeed and like to see them grow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very supportive network. So I'm also very lucky that I'm here. Thank you.
So Robyn, coming back to your background, just if you could tell everybody a bit about how you got into this, where you started it from, how does it come naturally now to you?
Okay, gosh.
All of that.
So a bit of background. I am an absolute coffee snob. Coming from Australia, born and raised in Australia, Melbourne, huge coffee culture.
Coffee culture.
I'm not great at making it, but I am a coffee snob.
Of course.
That's one thing about me. But yes, I was born and raised in Australia, Lebanese background, studied marketing, but didn't originally want to study marketing. I thought I was going to be the physiotherapist of Kobe Bryant. I was set straight. So my father played basketball for Lebanon. So I was very much into sports as a child. It was push-ups for punishments. It was 6 a.m. sprints. It was like discipline and so forth. So I take a lot of those learnings into what I do now. The discipline, the consistency, the fail, get up, do better, and just kind of keep going. And that performance of the corporate athlete in terms of what you do, you bring into the workplace.
Yeah.
So a lot of those learnings from the athletic space, I shifted into marketing. And going back to that story of the personal branding of my colleagues in the software space, that's when I started to think of, to think of personal branding. But really, I just loved people. I was like, you're going to work. Yeah, the work's great, but it's like, how do you connect with people and make your work better? So it's particularly in the software space, it's very B2B. You're dealing with people all of the time.
Yeah.
I was working with Microsoft. We had massive networks, events, and that was huge. Back then, Microsoft was huge. Now they're coming back into the space with ChatGPT, but that's a whole different conversation. But it was very people to people.
People to people.
Very people to people. So then it shifted. I was part of that shift with the social media change, and it was like, social media was actually a nice complementary space because it was just complementing what you're doing. Now really it's taken over and people are getting super overwhelmed and hating it and disliking it and finding a real negative association. Whereas for me, technology is an enabler. It's a platform where I can share.
It's how you see it.
Yeah, it's how you see it.
Anything in life.
Exactly, perception. It gives me more access to people. And so personal branding, I started to realize, was not about me. If I don't make myself visible, how can I help everyone else? And people need to start thinking like that in their profession. If I don't put myself out there and I'm so great at what I do, how are people going to find me? And especially you said that in the medical space, I'm sure even in your space, how do we find great lawyers?
Yeah.
People usually would go and they'll go online and they'll go hunting.
Yeah, referrals, okay, somewhat doctors and lawyers can be the traditional times referrals, but now also I feel I have no shame in saying that I have a lot of client organic reach from my social media platforms, and I've always been, and because of my social media, back then I was able to start my business because I had a platform from where I got clients, from where I got the funds to start my own. So I've never put in personal funds in the company. It's always been through the business.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
so
it's a cycle.
I wish people did more of that.
Yeah.
You are living proof that it works.
Yeah.
And the more that you put in, the more that you're going to get out.
Yeah.
So that's what it goes back to my intent. You have to have an intent and you have to make the choice to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's given that it's going to give you a greater reward than where you started.
Slowly or steadily. Long term it is.
Yeah. The long term thing's interesting because people are very short-minded.
Yeah.
They want instant gratification.
Yeah.
They feel like they can put 2 posts up and share their voice online and
No,
they're going to
it's
get
a
all the
long-term
rewards.
thing.
Yeah, it's a long-term thing.
Even though if you are trending, etc., all of that, still to gain somebody's trust who's gonna maybe put in money in you or through you, maybe whatever it may be, it takes time because you have to, that is only step 1. Step 2 is of course personal touch, personal call. So business, I think, is a mix of all the steps. This is just the starting step.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of it, you were talking about the personal touch. So all the time when people, I call it share their voice online instead of sharing, posting content, because posting content can feel a bit overwhelming for people.
Yes.
So if you want to share your voice, a lot of people share their voice in the written language, not the spoken language.
Yes.
So written language is, you'll see in the emails, dear, hope you're well, trust all is great. But when we're speaking, we don't talk like that.
Yeah, that's
we talk
true.
very casually.
Yeah.
So you need to start sharing your voice online very casually, like your spoken language, instead of going through structure and ChatGPT and taking away the human element, because people aren't going to connect with that. They never did. They're not going to now.
Yes.
So just, have a little flavor and write your spoken language.
Yeah, that's true. So even AI, for that matter, even if AI is there, I still feel it's like you read a book through Kindle or you read a physical paper book. I think the feeling of reading through the paper book, nothing supersedes that.
Yeah,
the
that's
Kindle
true.
one.
At the beach.
Yeah,
I love it.
So that's what personal touch, personal brand does
Yes.
to your business.
That's a nice analogy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think about it, even for me, like if I have to read a book, it's better if I'm able to read the book on the beach, something like that, rather than being on the
You can feel it.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can feel emotion. You can feel kindness.
Yes.
Words do the same thing. They elicit something, So
Yes.
it's a very similar concept.
Yeah. So for you, Robyn, let's say somebody wants to maybe start getting visible out there. So what is your step-by-step advice to that person who's never done anything on social media, who's absolutely scared or clumsy or lazy or procrastinating? Because, for me, I have a lot of people around me whom I tell to post, just put your thoughts out there, post about, give your insights. I tell you're good at it, especially my team as well. I tell them that you are good at it, boss. You have to yourself now. Nobody can, post for you. You have to make the content. So what is that one motivation factor that you tell such people? And secondly, what do you suggest for such people?
Okay, so if I had to pick one thing, it would be get out of your head and be brave enough. Because we all sit in our heads, right? Sometimes I'll post and I'll nitpick on it. And even though I've done it for so long, I get out of my head. I post and I forget. Because everyone forgets.
Post and ghost.
Post and ghost.
I heard this
I
also
love that. Yes,
on
post
Instagram.
and
Somebody
ghost. There you go, post and ghost. I don't remember the last reel I saw. So I started to not think about it anymore. I started to get it out there. So if I had to pick something, it would be brave enough. If I had to pick another thing around that, is really understand what you want to be known for before you get into the posting game. Because the posting game is not that difficult.
Yes. Figuring
out what I want to be known for. Because if you don't know that, you're going to get stuck and think, what am I going to post next?
Yeah.
I don't have any ideas. So you should never reach that stage. If you're like, this is what I want to be known for, the next stage is just finding ideas. Okay, under this topic and theme, what are ideas I can post about? And then we start talking format, whether it's a picture, written, or video. And video is a bit overwhelming for everyone right now.
Yes, true. Everybody's, even I feel that short-term videos. So yeah, here's my other question. And this is like a personal question that I'm just taking the privilege of being here and asking you directly. Is that what platform works best for what kind of people? So do you get this question often? Because for me, to manage all the platforms and then manage TikTok as well is like a headache. TikTok for me is a headache, honestly. Yeah. And I tell my team, I can manage everything for myself, but I can't manage TikTok. Please post it because it's so difficult to, I just don't have hold of it.
It's difficult, but we have to be realistic. You can't be everywhere at once at the same time.
Yeah.
Unless you've got lots of people doing it for you.
Yeah.
But look, going back to the question on which platform do you choose for the audience?
Yeah.
Platforms used to have a very strict persona, right? LinkedIn used to be, super professional. I can only do anything to do with my workplace. Instagram's still a kind of like moving around what it is, but that was more of a fun social posting. TikTok, identity right now, I'm not sure. A lot of people are like, this is my kids' platform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyone older is like, this is my kids' platform. It's a no-go zone. It's the fastest growing platform in the region.
Yes.
Do I have a TikTok? Yes. I started it during COVID. It wasn't great. It was just for fun. It's there. It's dormant because I'm choosing to put focus in my other channels right now. So it's not that it's not great. I know it's the fastest growing platform, but I'm not ready to put that kind of format or my time into that format yet. Is my audience there? Probably.
Yes.
There's probably a lot there, but they're probably also on Instagram and they're also on LinkedIn.
Good point.
So I don't always look at it like I'm missing out on a channel. I'm like, you know what? I have to do what's realistic and also what I enjoy. I enjoy Instagram a lot. I enjoy LinkedIn a lot. YouTube now I'm getting into. The shorts on YouTube are very similar to Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
I'm enjoying that. Right now I'm not enjoying TikTok, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Never say never.
Never say never, yeah. But my focus, isn't there. So it's go on a platform that you feel comfortable with. LinkedIn right now, I hear a lot about, it's turning into Facebook. I don't want to post anymore. People are putting selfies. It's nonsense and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, well, it's nonsense because you're silent and all these content creators in their early 20s are posting. Of course it's going to turn into that. So everyone needs to be brave, going back to that brave enough. Stop being silent. You're not the world's best kept secret. And start sharing your insights on the platform so that it changes into great content and a platform that we can all enjoy. So LinkedIn usually is a gateway channel for a lot of senior individuals because they're comfortable with it. And then it depends if your work is more visual, Instagram. So I had a client in real estate. Instagram was a big platform for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure with all the real estate booming here, you must be getting a lot of clients who are dealing with real estate.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's good.
A lot of my audience will also be listening to that because a lot of I have a good broker network, and a lot of people would be wanting to hear what you're saying.
So for real estate specifically, it's crazy. It just boomed all of a sudden.
Yeah,
personal branding is so important for real estate because people are going to buy from people.
Yes,
the difference is not just your knowledge, but if they like you and trust you.
True.
And that is your reputation. So you need to start building that credibility, especially if you're new to the space. A lot of people have come in from abroad in real estate and maybe quite established back home, but market knowledge they might be lacking in. However, if they're lovable and they have great knowledge of the market in general globally, they're gonna buy from you. So a lot of that is intent. A lot of that goes as well. The one thing that people don't do is SEO, so search engine optimization.
Okay.
So that is the one thing people shift straight into content creation, but aren't thinking about how consumers find you. Consumers find you through search. That's how it was 20 years ago, and now it's really back into so it's the landscape now. It's back, and it's back because of AI. If you look at ChatGPT, it's curating all of the information on the web. So if you're not planting yourself with those keywords on the web, those big, large language learning models aren't going to find you. So you have to go to each social platform, look at the areas where keywords are taken out. So for example, Instagram, it's the bold part. If you go to my Instagram, it has my name, Robyn Abou Chedid, and it has personal branding expert Dubai, because my keywords are personal branding expert Dubai. I have that on my website. I have that on all my LinkedIn, everywhere.
Okay.
So that's the one thing that no one's doing. So if people are listening in and they're taking away one key thing, it's get your keywords right. And that's why I rank number 1 on ChatGPT, because I planted the seeds on the keyword and I've come up organically because I am who I am. I am living proof of that.
Nice. Okay, that's a very big tip actually, because even I didn't know that even the content you put out there needs to be SEO proof.
Optimized. Yeah. So Google and YouTube are the same company.
Yeah.
So there's a website called Google Trends. I'm not sure if you know of it. Yeah, it will give you all the keywords that people are using per region. So the information's out there. It's use those tools, establish the keywords, what you want to be known for, and then place them on the social channels.
Yeah. That's true. I think YouTube for long-term reach and for getting organically connecting to people, it's very good platform. Like it's very educative. If you educate on a topic, for that YouTube is very nice. And so for Instagram, I feel it's so much like fast.
Yeah,
trending fast. It's very fast.
It is
short term.
Although YouTube did launch shorts, so they are realizing that people do like that fast. Although sometimes it's not that they're realizing they like it, it's what we're trained.
Yes.
We're trained to go fast through everything that we're doing. We want voice messages on ×2. We want speed. We want to jump to the next thing.
That's true.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy now.
It's wild.
I don't know next what is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Don't ask me about the future predictions. I'm still trying to catch up to what's happening.
So Robyn, typically, what's your client profile like? What kind of client intake processes for you? How do you work in Dubai if somebody's actually want to reach out to you for personal branding?
Okay, awesome. Great question. So usually I work with senior leaders.
Okay.
Now, the reason I work with someone senior is my mission, if I can influence one great person, they're going to influence thousands. And if I can get that super experienced individual to be brave enough to share content, that for me is amazing, because his insights and nuggets of information will be the best thing ever for everyone in the region. So it's me. I want to crack those people. So that's my main audience. C-level, senior leadership, execs. Yeah, all in that space. The other area, I do workshops where it's a bit more mid-senior.
Okay.
So it's like, how do you have personal branding for career growth? How do you create more visibility and look beyond the resume?
Nice.
Because right now it's not just about your CV. We want social proofing. You need to really stand out.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it, through branding yourself online. How do you create your LinkedIn profile, a mini website, not just a CV platform?
And do you see now in the recruitment world as well, is what I hear, that people do ask for, the employers, they do ask for that social footprint. They ask for your video interview, like a recorded session. Is that something that you are as well observing in the landscape?
Yeah, so they did try to do the video thing. It didn't go down well, the introduction in this region.
Okay.
So CVs are still a thing, but the social channels are very important. Yeah, I was working with an intern, and I was working with an intern, and I had an intern reach out to me. He was a local Emirati, actually. He goes, Robyn, I'm going and attending this careers expo, and they asked for my LinkedIn, and I don't know what LinkedIn, and I'm not on there, and how do I fix it? Because they're going to be profiling me for jobs. And I was like, you clever boy, because if you can enhance your profile and your touch points with what you share, you're going to stand out immediately. Because the resume, people skim through the resume.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
That's true. That's absolutely right, actually. Even if I have to, maybe look for some talent, then social media is my...
Yeah, your social proofing and your headhunting. This is headhunting, right?
Yes.
Something stands out. Let me go and see if they are who they say they are. And you're going to go to someone who's puts in time and effort into really showing up.
Yeah. So, Robyn, I have, recently observed that there was some political instability in some part of the world. And then some people were commenting, some people I liked, actually I followed, but they were commenting without even thinking about, what their stature is, where they are, if they should be talking about it. So I feel sometimes branding and content creation can go wrong as well. So what is that thin line difference?
Yeah, between the two, it's a tricky one because personal branding is personal.
Yes.
So, and also maybe that individual, they wanted to be a little bit more going back to the brave enough to say, you know what, I built up my profile. I now have a platform and a voice. Let me share what I'm thinking about such a topic.
Yes, which is not wrong.
Yeah.
But which also is not neutral. So they have those kind of remarks and comments as well, which I believe is always there. You can... No matter what you do, somebody or the other will maybe not like what you say. But still, I've seen like brands, they go down.
Yeah, there were big brands that going.
Yeah.
So I think it's, once again, going back to making a choice. So let's say you're going to post about a particular sensitive topic. I think you got to really think about where you currently live. And what you're currently affecting. We all thought certain things, especially that happened in the particular region, but we're also culturally sensitive. We think about things before we speak.
Yeah.
What are things that are appropriate to say? Normal, and the normal spoken language of the world. So where things can go wrong is when people start to disconnect what they've built to kind of like random emotions that are coming through. So sometimes people will write in emotion rather than in thought. So it steps away from thought leadership and what they've built. And that's when something damaging can come to your reputation.
True.
And that goes for the same for big brands. It's just it can be a little bit careless. And sometimes people make mistakes. They might write something and be like, I was emotional. I saw something. It was triggering. This is how I felt. So just before you post, that's why I say have intent in what you're doing, especially if you're building up a personal brand, because you never know.
And how much content is too much content?
Oh,
How much is okay to post?
look,
Because I always have this with my marketing team, and they tell me few posts are okay for this week, etc. And I'm like, no, I want to put every day. Sometimes I'm after them, sometimes they are after me. It's like a tricky situation.
Is it tricky? Look, the more you can put out, great. That's a no-brainer.
Both of you, please.
Well, I meant to change that. No, look, realistic. You have to be realistic. To anyone that I work with that's senior, I say, let's start at one a week.
Yeah.
Because there's a misconception that people think that when we're doing personal branding and posting, Khalas, I don't have to do anything, keep my hands out of it, you'll do everything for me. I said, no, it doesn't work like that. You're the thought leader. I need your thoughts. It's a personal investment and it's personal time that you need. I take majority of the weight off you. but you're part of it. It's your personal brand.
Yes.
And what happens is when you've got other people doing it for you, there'll be a disconnect with, oh, that doesn't sound like me. I'm like, well, of course, it's not you because you didn't want to be involved. So too much, I guess you have to, there's a fine line. I think 4 or 5 times a week is great.
Yes.
But if you have great content, do it every day. I would love to hear from someone that has amazing insights.
Yeah.
So I think it's be realistic with yourself. Are you able to commit?
Be you, basically.
And be you. So if you're able to ramp it up and do it every day, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Robyn, it was a lovely session with you. Thank you so much. I personally learned a lot. I'm sure the viewers, people hearing out here would have as well. And yeah, guys, if you have any other information related to this, if you want to ask any questions, we'll put Robyn's handle in the description and you can reach out to her. She's definitely worth sitting with, chatting with, and discussing everything for your business and yourself. And make sure you're visible for her to show interest.
Yes.
All right, Robyn.
Thank you, Shireen.
Thank
Thank you so much. It was amazing.
So much.